going on with the WNBA? I just met some lady who played for the Seattle Storm. I saw her at practice. She was giving buckets. 9th year in the league. Went to Duke. Boss. She's like, yeah, we need to hurry up and sign that deal.
Oh, whoa! This isn't speculation, and it isn't some rumors circulating on Twitter. Marcellus Way revealed that he recently met a 9th-year Seattle Storm player in the gym who told him directly, "We need to sign that deal." There's only one player on that roster who matches that description. Lexie Brown, a Duke alum, is in her 9th season and has just broken ranks with the WNBA Players Association.
Listen again. He said, I just met this girl in the gym, played for Seattle Storm. She was getting buckets, went to Duke. She said, we need to sign that damn deal. Lexie Brown is sick of the WNBPA. She want them to sign the deal, stop playing games. She's trying to get her money. I told y'all, the Deja Kellys came out and said, I don't want no lockout. Jay Melbourne, all these people have come out saying they don't want no damn lockout.
And watch his body language when he repeats it. This isn't paraphrasing or interpreting. He's nearly quoting her verbatim. We need to hurry up and sign that deal. Notice what he doesn't say. He doesn't describe her as being diplomatic or expressing concerns. He says she was frustrated. She was in the gym getting buckets and apparently venting about the WNBA Players Association dragging their feet on CBA negotiations. This matters because Lexie Brown is 31 years old. She's not a rookie unfamiliar with the stakes, nor is she a veteran on a max contract who can afford to sit out a season. She's still on the old CBA deal, meaning if there's a lockout, she doesn't get paid. Even more importantly, if she doesn't play this season, she can't reach free agency next year when the new CBA money kicks in.
So if they decide to move forward with the players on rookie deals, the newly drafted rookies and replacement players, Lexie Brown can go and get her money because her and Caitlyn Brown are the only veterans under contract for next season. So Lexie is looking at it like, hey, I'm 31. I got to play out this year so that I can get to the bag the following year. Like, y'all are playing around. I don't got time for this.
Here's the situation Lexie Brown is facing. The WNBA entered what's called a status quo period on January 31st, 2025. That means the old CBA has expired, but the league is still operating under those terms. While negotiations continue, teams can still contact players, and players can still work out in team facilities, but free agency is frozen. Lexie is one of only 2 veterans on the Seattle Storm actually under contract for next season, alongside Mag Bazier. Everyone else is a free agent, which means if the Players Association pushes for a better deal and a work stoppage occurs, Lexie can still get paid because she's under contract. The problem? She's 31 years old and still earning old CBA money. She needs to play this season to reach free agency in 2026, when the new CBA takes effect and salaries are significantly higher.
Oops, 360.
The league. What is that?
Well, let's backtrack a little bit. Because there is no deal and because there is no deal on an extension, the league enters a status quo period. So negotiations continue in good faith. The league continues operating under the previous CBA. So if the league continues operating under the previous CBA, what happens is beginning on Sunday, teams were allowed to send out qualifying offers to their free agents. They were allowed to designate their core players, et cetera, to begin the free.
So when Marcellus Way says she told him, we need to hurry up and sign that deal, what Lexie Brown is really saying is, I don't have time for this. She's not a 23-year-old who can afford to sacrifice a season for leverage. She needs to play this year to get paid next year. And she's not alone. Tiara McCaughan publicly stated she doesn't want a lockout, and Kelsey Mitchell has voiced similar concerns. These veterans understand that missing an entire season at this stage of their careers isn't a negotiating tactic. It's career suicide. But here's where it gets complicated. The WNBA Players Association has gone completely rogue. They're not just negotiating behind closed doors. They're running a full-blown public relations campaign on Instagram, posting about how owners are allegedly stalling and refusing to respond. They've even placed inflatable rats in front of WNBA headquarters, like they're picketing a construction site. It's scorched earth tactics.
Free agents. They were allowed to designate their core players, et cetera, to begin the free agency process. Obviously, that's kind of a little bit useless if there's going to be a new CBA with higher salaries and et cetera. Players are going to decline all of those things. It's kind of just useless paperwork. Doesn't make a lot of sense. So enter a moratorium, a deal that says free agency will be put on pause. They will not send out those qualifying offers for players to respond to. That part of league operations just kind of does not happen at the moment. Everything else, though, continues. So players can still contact teams and coaches. They can have that open line of communication. They can work out in team facilities. Everything operates as normal while they try and figure out.
Now, listen to what they're saying on Hoops 360. The league has entered a moratorium, which pauses free agency, but allows other operations to continue. Players can still talk to coaches and work out in team facilities, but the league isn't processing qualifying offers or contract negotiations until the CBA is resolved. They're comparing it to minor league hockey, where the AHL and ECHL continue playing games under the old CBA for 6 months while negotiating a new deal, with players receiving back pay once a new agreement was signed. So there's precedent. The concern, however, is timing. If this drags into March, free agency will coincide with March Madness, creating a massive problem for WNBA teams trying to scout college prospects and build their rosters. General managers need to watch NCAA tournament games to evaluate draft picks, and if they're simultaneously negotiating with free agents, some things are bound to fall through the cracks.
This period of status quo. Two things, though, that concern me. One, it's what you just mentioned, and that's free agency. That's the whole point of moratorium. It puts a hold on free agency. And look, this could change tomorrow. That's kind of the unpredictability of all of these negotiations. We are not sitting in these boardrooms. We're not having these conversations. So we don't know exactly what these conversations hold and what is being discussed. But I did read an article that said it could potentially push free agency back to March. And you might say, well, that still leaves plenty of.
So you've got a perfect storm brewing. The Players Association wants a bigger slice of the revenue pie, higher salaries, better benefits, more guaranteed money. And they're willing to play hardball to get it. They're posting on social media, putting rats in front of buildings, and trying to win the PR battle. But the owners aren't budging. They've agreed to a status quo, meaning they're prepared to operate under the old CBA indefinitely if necessary. They're not panicking. They're letting the Players Association sweat it out. And that's where veterans like Lexie Brown come in. While union leadership talks about solidarity and leverage, these seasoned players are looking at their bank accounts, their ages, and doing the math. The math says they simply can't afford to miss a season.
Plenty of time to build your team before the beginning of the season. But what I think about is a little something else that we have in the world of basketball that happens in the month of March. And that is the NCAA tournament. That is the Final Four. That when you have these teams, these coaches, these general managers that are planning their teams for the future, a really big part of that is scouting in the NCAA tournament. Is so many of these players that boost their draft stocks when they play to a certain level in the biggest games of the year. Now, I'm not saying it's inevitable that free agency is going to be pushed back to March. I'm just saying that is in the cards. And whenever you have a college season that backs up right into the beginning of the WNBA season, you already have a really, really tight schedule, pushing free agency back even further with the sheer.
Now, here's the part that should terrify the Players Association. Lexie Brown didn't go on a podcast or post on Instagram. She didn't give an interview to ESPN. She told Marcellus Way in a gym after a workout. That means she wasn't trying to make a public statement. She was venting, frustrated, and assumed it was off the record. But Marcellus put out there anyway, and now it's on the internet. Everyone knows that at least one veteran player on a playoff team is openly questioning the union's strategy. That's a crack in the foundation. That's the kind of thing that leads other players to speak up. Because if Lexie Brown is thinking this, how many other veterans are thinking the same thing, but staying quiet? How many are looking at their contracts, their ages, and their finances, and wondering if this is really worth it?
Thing on track. They are done playing games. Lexie Brown wants her money. She wants to sign the deal and start playing. She wants a 2026 WNBA season. She said we need to sign that deal. That is what she said. And the WNBPA is going and doing their own thing. They've gone rogue. They've gone rogue, you guys. Get down in the comments.
The WNBA just had its best season ever. Ratings up, arenas full. Caitlyn Clark bringing mainstream attention. But now the Players Association is threatening a lockout over the CBA. Lexie Brown, a 31-year-old veteran, isn't worried about solidarity. She needs to play, get paid, and hit free agency under the new CBA next year. She told Marcellus Way in a gym, "We need to hurry up and sign that deal," venting frustration that the union strategy doesn't protect players like her. Meanwhile, the union is running a public PR campaign with social posts and inflatable rats, but owners aren't panicking. They're letting the players sweat it out. Veterans like Lexie know they can't afford a missed season, while younger players may hold out for leverage. If this divide grows, the union could implode, and the owners could offer a deal just good enough to get players back on the court, but not change the league's economics. Lexie Brown just exposed the first crack in the union's front. The question now, how many others will follow? The 2026 season might end up being on the owners' terms, not the players'.